Hey everybody, welcome to the Hamakua Homestead. If you're new here, my name is Tiffany and today we are fermenting some spicy pickled, Today we are going to ferment spicy carrots. When all is said and done, hopefully we'll end up with about 1 quart jar. So for this, we're gonna go ahead and gather up our ingredients, and it is gonna be 6 carrots, 6 jalapeños, 12 cloves of garlic, and then of course we will need our water and salt. So let's go ahead and get started. After you have your vegetables cut up and peeled, if you should so desire to do so, now it's time to make sure that our equipment is freshly washed and ready to go. You want to make sure that you wash your jar, your pickling puck, or whatever you're using to weigh down your items, and your lid as well. Make sure it's nice and clean, but don't use bleach or anything like that on there to kill everything on there, because then it's going to end up having residue inside your jar and killing your good bacteria. I'm reusing one of my older lids for this. You don't have to use a brand new lid when you're fermenting or pickling, as long as you're not planning on long-term storage. This will be stored in the refrigerator. After you have thoroughly washed everything, it's time to go ahead and fill up the jar. For this amount of carrots, I'm hoping that we end up with 1 quart jar. I decided to go less on the jalapeños just because I was afraid it would be a little too spicy and I wouldn't go through the jar as quickly as I should for our refrigerator space. So we're just gonna go ahead and layer in our ingredients. So the jalapeños and the garlic get all the way in there on the top, bottom, and hopefully middle too. So that should be about enough. I want to leave enough room for my pickling puck at the top. To make the brine, we're just going to need salt and water. Make sure you're not using tap water or water catchment water, anything like that. For fermenting, you do have to go ahead and get the filtered water from the store. And the reason for that is because the tap water that you have coming out of your sink, if you're in town or if you're in county water, has chlorine in it, and the chlorine is going to kill the good bacteria that you're searching for in your ferment. The salt to water ratio is going to be 1 quart. I'm not going to use all of this. 1 quart of filtered water to 3 tablespoons of salt. Don't just use regular old Morton's table salt here, the iodized stuff. You're gonna want something else, something a little better. Then we're just gonna go ahead and get this salt to dissolve. And go ahead and pour it over our carrots. Okay, so that was a little bit more than half that I ended up using. This here, I have a pickling puck. It was actually a gift from my sister at the Fermented Homestead. She gave this to me. If I didn't have this handy dandy pickling puck, I would use a cabbage leaf or an onion peel, not the peel, but a piece of an onion, What we're looking for is to keep our ingredients underneath the brine so that it has no access to oxygen at the top, because that's where you're more than likely going to get your mold or anything nasty to happen if it has air. But you can go ahead and experiment with all kinds of things and figure out what works for you. I still have a little bit of soap on here. Okay, so just go ahead and put your weight down in there. And the goal is to get it up here so that everything below is underneath the water. I've got brine coming all the way up to the top, and I think I'm ever so close to being able to put the lid on without it spilling over. But what I'm going to do first is scoop off these seeds and anything else that might be floating at the top. I was just thinking to myself, why do I always find myself picking seeds out of the top of ferments? And I shortly there figured out the answer. It's because I put jalapeños in everything that I ferment. All right, so now we're gonna put our lid on. That's it. All right, so we've got this part of the project done. I'm gonna come back every day for the next 3 days, and I'm going to burp this. This salt water is going to cause a reaction, making this possibly overflow, and it's building up all of the gases inside. So I'm gonna come by every day and open it, let the air out, and close it back up. I'm not gonna open it, test it, taste it, look at it, nothing like that. Just enough to let the gases out so it doesn't explode on me. I have a feeling like I'm going to enjoy this food with a longer fermentation time, but I am going to bring you guys back and show you what it looks like after 3 days, because that might be the sweet spot for you guys. Alright, so here we are at day 3 of our ferment, and this is what it's looking like. As you can see, it is cloudy at the top, which is fine for the most part. I don't see any problems. Let's go ahead and give this a try. That's a lot of foam. I don't recall seeing that much foam previously. There's no mold, there's no funky smell. It smells like a good ferment. You can see a bunch of the seeds are coming to the top. That's fine for now. Everything looks nice in there, but now it is the moment of truth. Cheers. A little bit of that tang at the end there. I'm gonna get a fresh fork, no double dipping with ferments. I'm gonna try one of the jalapeños with a carrot. It's yummy. It's very tangy. Last one, we're gonna go ahead and try that garlic in there. Ooh. That garlic is intense. It's like almost burned in my mouth. but I'm sure it is 10 times healthier than just even regular garlic is. And we all know how good garlic is for your health. But that's really good though. I want to try another carrot. We could go ahead and pull this ferment now, and it would be perfectly fine. But I'm going to go ahead and let it ferment longer because I want that fermented tangy flavor to, I don't know if I want to say the word intensify. It just changes over time, like sauerkraut, I guess. And that's more of the flavor that I prefer. It's kind of hard to explain. It's not exactly the intensity. I'm not sure what to call it, but it definitely changes the flavor over time. I have a feeling like I'm actually going to probably let this ferment for a good while and then put it in the fridge and eat it slowly over time, like I do with my sauerkraut. That's the way I prefer it. But it is super delicious, and I hope that this encourages you guys to go ahead and try a couple of simple ferments for yourself and reap the benefits. Thank you so much for joining me today on the Hamakua Homestead. I'll see you again soon.